I'm Leah Hedrick, and I will be presenting on Charif Souki, the founder of Cheniere Energy. Charif Souki was born in 1953 in Cairo, Egypt. Just 4 years later, his father, Sam, moved the family to Beirut, Lebanon. Sam was a journalist whose work was being censored and his family tracked by the regime, and he no longer felt it was safe for them to remain in Egypt. In Beirut, Sam became the chief correspondent for Newsweek in the Middle East. He also became an advisor to political and business leaders. During this time, Charif was exposed to and interacted with numerous influential people, which would be useful later in his life. Charif enjoyed sailing, surfing, and skiing, and had no intentions of going to college in the United States, but rather wanted to stay in Lebanon with his friends. However, Sam had dreamed of going to college in the United States, but was unable to due to World War II. In 1971, Charif was accepted to Colgate University and decided to attend because it was in New York City, or at least so he thought. He thought it would be great to see the city and experience life there on his own. However, Colgate University is in the small town of Hamilton, New York, over 200 miles from New York City, and without a single female on campus. In spite of being disappointed at the setting of the university, he stayed and found himself engrossed in the courses and taking as many as possible in the areas of economics, history, and literature. Just 3 years later, he graduated with a bachelor's degree. Inspired by all of his father's endeavors, he then went on to receive his master's in business from Columbia University. Charif had intended on returning to Lebanon upon his graduation from Columbia. However, it was at this time that Lebanon was going through a civil war within the country, and he was unable to go home. Stuck in the United States, he sent his resume to several banks and investment groups in hopes of getting a good job here. With his degrees in business and his ability to speak Arabic, he became highly sought after by several firms. At this time, several groups were trying to tap into the Middle East investor pool. In 1976, with a wife and 2 kids to support, Charif took a position with Blythe Eastman Dillon & Company. He spent much of his time in the Middle East trying to entice oil moguls to diversify their investments in such areas as real estate and hotels. Charif was very successful, not only because he was one of their own coming to talk to them, but because he was comfortable and not intimidated by these men due to all of his experience with his father's high-powered guest. Phone communication was fickle between the Middle East and the United States at this time, and there was no such thing as the internet yet. So Charif would usually be sent somewhere overseas with no accommodations set up. No reservations anywhere, just trying to find a place to stay as soon as he landed. There also weren't traditional offices for most of these moguls, so he would sit in the person's courtyard with several other investment bankers vying for an opportunity to pitch them their company. Charif said it was during this time that he spent most of his days just lounging in these courtyards with these other investment bankers, talking, laughing, having fun, waiting for the investor to wake up from their afternoon nap before they were able to talk to them. He said most happenings happened after midnight for these men. Tiring of being the man that made the deals but never getting to invest himself, he left the firm and began raising capital for his own ventures. In 1978, his first endeavors consisted of a refinery in California, a hotel in Hawaii, and an office building in Paris. Business was booming, but he was traveling more than before, and the strain was too much for his marriage. Charif later fell in love with the Aspen community and his next endeavor was to open a restaurant called Mezzaluna. With the success of Mezzaluna, he opened another location in Los Angeles. It was here in LA that he became friends with Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, O.J.'s wife. They became close friends, and after the murders of Ron and Nicole, Mezzaluna became a hot tourist spot because of the connection with the victims and the families. Charif was sickened by all the attention that Mezzaluna was getting because of this tragedy. It was at this time that Charif began to reevaluate all of his financial situation and endeavors. He had had a multi-dollar nest egg when he left Bly. However, several questionable ventures in LA and frivolous spending in Aspen had nearly wiped him out. In 1996, he decided to get into the energy industry. He took over an inactive film colorization company that still had some public trading shares out. He used it as a shell company and renamed it to Souki. The company's name was later changed to Cheniere Energy. Being a smaller company in Louisiana, being a smaller company in an already established industry proved difficult. They began drilling as a drilling company in the Louisiana Gulf Coast. He used his old connections he had made through Blythe to gain investors in his new company. At the time, the company was barely breaking even, selling the oil for what they were making, at the cost that they were using to drill, in order to break even into this competitive market. Several companies had offered to buy the severe debt that Cheniere had in exchange for full control. However, Souki was not interested in selling his company and believed he could make something new in this market. So Charif began thinking outside the box. They began importing natural gas from other countries that had massive reserves of natural gas with no place to go with it. Cheniere built a large facility to receive the imported gas and tried to make money by buying cheaper gas than what they could drill for. Still, the company was struggling in the market. They were drilling, they were importing, but there was just so many companies in the U.S. market. So the thinking outside the box began again. The company is currently working on being the first U.S. liquefied natural gas exporter, what they used to import. Liquefied natural gas is cooling natural gas to minus 260 degrees Fahrenheit to where it's in a liquefied state. They then ship it in containers to new facilities abroad and then reheat it to become into its gaseous state again. While the facilities are still being built, he has made progress politically by receiving permission to export to countries that are not a part of the Fair Trade Commission. He believes that his facilities will hopefully be up and running by 2018. However, best guesses say that he will not be fully functional until 2020. Charif is currently the chairman of the board, president, and CEO of Cheniere Energy. He enjoys cycling, skiing, and windsurfing. He has also gotten into the real estate market in Aspen again, and has made several acquisitions over the last few years. Souki's business philosophy consists of 3 points. 1. Get all the facts. Understand all that you can possibly understand about something before getting into it. 2. Stay unemotional and make sound decisions. Don't get personally attached, but think of what's best. And 3. Hire the right people to help you reach your goals. There are these people that will help push you, drive you, and make you successful. They are the driving force behind you. Charif Souki believes if you keep digging, you will find something. That is what he has done. He kept digging, trying. And he is now on top to lead the new market of natural gas in the United States, potentially across the world, with his new facilities and his new innovative ideas to export gas to numerous countries.